bills. Senators voted 77-13 to send the measure to the desk of President Biden. Donald Trump is slamming President Biden over his handling of the border crisis. Mark Mayfield with more.
While speaking from Eagle Pass, Texas on Thursday, the Republican presidential frontrunner accused Biden of allowing immigrants to flow into the country. He called Biden the most incompetent president the nation has ever seen. Trump's visit to Eagle Pass comes as Biden was in Brownsville, Texas, meeting with Border Patrol and local leaders. Biden called on Republicans to take up a border security deal negotiated by a bipartisan group of senators.
Former President Trump is in a Florida courtroom today as part of his classified documents case. The judge will consider when the case should go to trial. Prosecutors have requested the trial begin July 8th, while Trump's legal team seeks to push proceedings past the presidential election. Meanwhile, in Georgia, closing arguments will take place in a bid by Trump and his co-defendant to boot Fulton County DA Fani Willis from the case that she brought against the former president for alleged conflicts of interest. Wildfires continue to ravage the Texas Panhandle and parts of Oklahoma as more winds blow in. President Biden vowed to help during his border trip.
When disasters strike, there's no red state or blue state where I come from. They're just communities and families looking for help.
The largest of the fires, which has been dubbed the Smokehouse Creek Fire, has burnt more than 1 million acres. That makes it the largest wildfire in state history. 2 deaths have been reported. Governor Greg Abbott is scheduled to speak with other state and local officials this afternoon in the town of Borger. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Hi, this is Graham Smith, and I'm running for County Supervisor in District 3. I know you're getting inundated with messages about the election, so I'll keep this short. If you want a supervisor who won't waste your tax dollars, who will be a watchdog over the $10 billion county budget, who understands the danger of relying solely on warehouses to keep our economy going, and who isn't taking donations from corporations or sitting politicians, vote for me. Graham Smith for Supervisor in District 3. I've worked for 20 years in finance and business. I know how to grow our economy, create jobs, and make sure your tax dollars aren't being wasted. I'm not a politician. I'm just a resident of San Bernardino who's tired of unqualified leaders who make promises they can't keep. And I care about people, affordable housing, and honest and open government. We need to address our challenges in a realistic manner. A county supervisor needs to pay attention. So if you're ready for a supervisor who prefers skills over sound bites, someone who wants to serve the people instead of themselves, if you think we need to try something new, vote Smith for Supervisor. You can go to smithforsb.com. SMITHFORSB.com. The election is March 5th. Mail in your ballot today. Paid for by Smith for Supervisor. I'm Graham Smith, and I approve this message.
You are here for my 1,095 podcast shows. I think I was doing podcasts before they started calling them podcasts, and I'm really glad that those who said a show about hope and happiness would not last beyond a year, because it has. And May 1st, 2012 is when I started this little life project to try to balance out all the bad news with good news. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all on this show. Instead, I want you to tune in on your own reality show on how you can be happy 88% of the time. Why not 100%? Because if you're 100% happy, you're dead. And I don't want dead people walking, talking, listening, or watching. Instead, 88 is a pretty good number. 8 is a homophone in Mandarin. And I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And 88% is double good fortune. So that number is for perfectionists really important, because we can't be 100%. A lot of times we make ourselves really unhappy trying to be 100%. So that's why I say 88%. So I have topics and guests to do that. You can get all of my past shows on my YouTube TV channel, which if you free subscribe, you'll also get an alarm every weekday morning so that you can tune in. And like the people that get to tune in that are regulars here, Troy Pacelli. He has his own show on YouTube on Friday nights. He's happy Friday, so thankful for a start of another weekend. Thankful to start it with Dr. Marissa. Hey, that's me. And lovely Alon Carter, who is on her way. Good morning, Troy. He is also the co-captain of my Cashew Gallery chat. So if you pop in there, he will welcome you until I get a chance to do that. And This is Friday morning. I don't know about you, but this week went really quickly for me, partially because, as I'm going to cover, and Troy, you're going to have to be my co-host until Alon gets here. What are you grateful for? This is a little good life exercise or a blissipline that I started this year on the show every morning with guests or without guests. We have breakfast by taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So, what are you grateful for? And I was delighted yesterday, my new co host on Straight Talk, James Hawthorne, he didn't like doing this when he started, but now he's super glad because it was difficult for him to talk about what he appreciated about himself, which is the bottom of the button. But I'm happy to say he likes it. It's a good thing because he is my co-host. And I do know that y'all appreciate this. Shout out to Z, a client of mine who just said something nice on my Instagram, which is Doc Balance, by the way. People are looking for my Instagram. How come you're not Dr. Marissa there? Long story, but Doc Balance is good because I'm all about balance. And you can go and free subscribe there. I pretty much live my life out loud there. So if you want to check out what I do off when I'm not on the show, that's where you can go. You can also go to drmarissa.life, hit the social button at the top, and then you can see all of the things that I do there. Or also on the red carpet on my, it says red carpet at the top, and you'll see all the great people that I've gotten to meet and flash piece with, Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, you name it. I've been very fortunate that way. All right, and that's my first gratitude. My second gratitude is that I have the privilege of having this platform and continue to have it and to be able to highlight great people and great things. Speaking of which, Tuesday, if you missed that show, I highlighted the co-founder of Actors Center LA, an acting school that is not based on criticism. And she's also the beautiful wife of Jim Meskimen, who has been on my show as well. He's a fabulous impressionist. And for me, his best quality is that he's the son of one of my favorite people, Marion Ross, who is Mrs. Cunningham on Happy Days. So love to her. And that's like 4 gratitudes there. Let's see what Troy is saying. He's grateful for a rather smooth and relatively low stress work week this week. It's about time. And it is about time, by the way. My BS belief system about time is nothing like money. Money you can make, you can spend, you can lose, you can invest. It goes up, it goes down. But time, once it's gone, it's gone. No do-overs. It has a shelf life, and it is a non-renewable energy. Not to say that I don't live in an abundant universe, but time is one of those things we got from here to here in that dash. So I hope you're as happy as possible in that space. Let's see. Grateful for a new streaming show from South Korea that Netta and I are really enjoying. Interesting. Good entertainment, and it can enrich your day. Let's see. Does Frank have any grateful? Oh, yay! He does. Oh, I can't click it. He's grateful to be back today, and I'm grateful to be back today and having Frank in the studio. There's nothing like when your sound engineer is not there and not knocking the replacements, but that's why I was trying to get a hold of you. I didn't want to put it in writing, but it was truly I'm really happy to have you back. Let's just put it that way. All right. And if you could train your replacements, because there's still that front part of the show, while I remember, as when the countdown is and which buttons to push. All right. Bottom of the button, appreciation. What do you like about yourself? What do you enjoy? What do you appreciate? Why is this important? Because a lot of us, like me, have this really strong critic that says no matter how good I do, or no matter how great it is, and how wonderful there's still that voice that says, well, you got it this time, but you messed up yesterday, or you're not all that, or who do you think you are? And a lot of it is stemmed in past criticism that I've gathered like a pet peeve and put in a box, and it really doesn't do me well. So instead of not criticizing myself, I like to appreciate myself. And that's the muscle we do in this discipline. What do you like about yourself? So take a breath and release all the stories and the drama, and tell me what you like about yourself. I appreciate that I am loving, not all the time, but 88% of the time. What do you like about yourself? Let's see. I appreciate that I can admit that I made a mistake, and that is not something in my Tao ancestry, my mother's part of the family. I remember an aunt saying, "I do not apologize." I know that yeah, it's not. What's this? Sorry, na 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 na. I forgot the words, but something to do with sorry. Oh yes, sorry seems to be the hardest word. So it isn't for me now. I still don't do it maybe as quickly as I can, but I do ask the question, what's my part in this? Or, what's my side of the street, and try to clean it up before it gets infected into what I talked about Monday on Mental Health Matters. That this progression of questions that is not useful in life for me is, how could they do that? And why did they do that? And why me? And I try to not do that, and instead say, yeah, well, they might be in their 12% like I sometimes am too. All right, so appreciation. This is the hard part of the breakfast sandwich. I'm really not good at finding good things I like about myself, but I appreciate that I keep trying to find good things about myself. I won't give up. That's good. And that's right there. There's something you can appreciate about yourself. Not giving up, tenacity, always willing to try, putting yourself out there, not afraid to step in it. That's 5 right there. Hello? You can write those down. And then the next time you get a compliment, Troy, write it down. Those are things that people appreciate about you. But until you can do it yourself, it kind of bounces off. I don't know about you, but sometimes compliments, I get them and I say thank you, but I don't really receive them. That's another thing that I've been learning how to do, is receiving the compliment. And that's it for the breakfast sandwich. And thank you for joining me. Thank you, Troy, for subbing in for Alon, who is still engaged, I think, in something she doesn't want to be engaged in. But I don't know if we'll be tempted to talk about it. But Troy, you can continue to be my co-host until she gets here. If you've just tuned in and wondering what's going on, it is Friday. And that is Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and Alon Carter. When she gets here, she is the daughter of the founder of the Temptations, Otis Williams, which is why we call it Tempting Conversations. And really, Friday is a day we don't necessarily have a topic or a guest, although we did last week. We had a doctor who was like incredible. Didn't even know that he was. I knew, not only knew him, I've spent time with him, supporting Trace and enjoying Trace's music. And it is Mama Carter, or Mama, my mama, Alon's mom, my honorary mom, her boyfriend. And had no idea he had such a distinguished list of accomplishments. But if you missed that show, just go to my YouTube channel, TV channel, free subscribe, and you will get to listen to that. Where was I? Oh, yes. So she is the daughter of the founder of the Temptations, Otis Williams. Fabulous. I think he's 81 or 82 now, still performing. And I'm so grateful to her son, Trace Austin. who is an amazing performer, up and coming, didn't fall far from his grandpa's musical tree. I met them, wow, a year and a half ago when I was on stage with the Agape International Choir, singing, opening for the Temptations at the fabulous St. Joseph's fundraiser at the Peterson Car Museum. Wow, I'm remembering better than I usually do. I must be recovering. All right, let's see. I am a poor replacement for a line. That's not a knock me. It's just stay right. Oh, that's very nice. Well, I'm gonna just do a little reminder text, please. All right. So I am, oh yeah, I forgot to say that if you participate in the Blissipline of the Gratitude Sandwich every day for the next 28 days, I promise you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. And let's just give that a little bit of a transition. All right. I forgot to do one thing for gratitude, and that is I am celebrating 15 years of sobriety, and I did want to also celebrate that. Just in case I didn't share that with you before. All right, let's do this. Okay, she's coming. And what I'm tempted to talk about while she is coming in, I am tempted to talk about swiping. And there's two things that come to mind when you say swiping. If you were a Dora the Explorer, when my kids were young, they loved that show and fostered a love for the Spanish language, which they both then learned. But swiper, no swiping, remember that? And then, of course, online dating apps are also very familiar as a, one word, say the other word. So when I say swiping, you will say online dating, Tinder, Bumble, all of the apps that have sort of taken over the dating world. Now, I hear less and less, by the way, people saying, oh, I would never do an online dating. I would never do that. I hear less and less, and I hear more and more of people saying, I met my husband, I met my boyfriend online on an app, and surprising to me, on Tinder, because I always thought that Tinder was a hookup app, and it may have been. I have a friend who's gay who says on Tinder for his group of friends is a hookup app, but I also know two people now, good friends of mine, who met and are very much with their Tinder app mate in a committed monogamous relationship. So some of you know who have been following my life that I live out loud here on the show and on my social that I have begun dating again. And I have Australia to thank for that one. When I was there, sold out of books and had some time on my hands. So I'm in a city that I don't know anybody, socially. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to open the app that I think I was on in 2015. That was the last time. So 8 years of really not dating and 7 years without a relationship. That's a long time. So it was kind of fun and scary, trying to reorient myself. And I know Frank is particularly interested in this topic, my sound engineer, because I had shared a little bit of it. And he's like, what? Because I've been very happy and content, and I thought very satisfied with my single life. I have a very full life, 8 jobs and tons of extracurricular things that I love to do, sailing, mahjong, playing games, my daughters, my friends. So no time really for a date, and my last date had actually said to me, what do you say? He goes, I don't have a problem being priority 1, 2, or 2 or 3, but when I'm priority 10, that's a little bit too much to take. And I absolutely agreed with him. Like, nobody should feel like they're priority 10. So after 7 years, 7-year itch, or 8 years of not having a relationship, I actually am warming up to the idea that there might be some value to me that is not a, I hate the C word, compromise, and I don't have the P word, patience, in my vocabulary at all. So that's not conducive to having a relationship. So I'm working on I'm working on my BS. I'm working on my belief system that there isn't value to having someone share things with you that make it enhanceable. So I actually have been swiping, swiper no swipe, and I was on Bumble first. I don't know why. I know why, because of the BS, the belief system that Tinder is for hookups. And then once I found out it really wasn't, and then my past guest and friend Ranella, who I should have told I was going to be mouthing her here, she forced me to also go on Tinder. So I am now on both Tinder. I am on both Tinder and Bumble doing.
Oh my God! I came in a perfect time.
Yes, you did. And that's what I'm tempted to talk about today, because I wanted to catch you up as well, because we haven't had time. That's like the big news, is that I'm actually dating again, and I'm actually using those stupid apps that everybody says are stupid, and I don't do them or whatever. But I've heard more and more that people are actually finding really great relationships, marriage, long-term monogamous relationships on the app. So I thought, what the heck? If you can't beat them, join them.
Well, you know what? I think this is a great topic. So, from the kids, what the kids tell me is, I've heard, someone just brought this topic up. I want to say good morning, everybody, first.
Yes, thank you. Let's start there.
I actually had time to get coffee finally.
Yeah. And let's just.
So according to the kids, Dr. Marissa.
Hold on. Yay! She's here. Troy was subbing in for you while you were getting ready, and he said,
"Thank you."
Replacement for Alon. That's not a knock. I mean, that's a statement of how awesome she is.
Thank you. Nice? Thank you for helping out. I had a bit of an emergency this morning, and I actually was up early this morning. I was up at 7:45, so it's not because I slept in late. I was up really early.
Yes, you were dealing with life.
Huh?
You were dealing with life.
Yes, I was. I was dealing with the life. Now I had to actually listen to my high frequency meditation music this morning when I woke up. So I've been doing the sound bowls. So that's been helping. I love the sound bowls. I actually would like to do something. We should go on a sound bowl thing when they do the little,
Yeah.
So my hair. So I didn't have time to do my hair this morning, guys. So if I look a little messy, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't do my hair at all. I just took it down from sleeping, and that's how it looks today.
You're beautiful.
Thank you. So this is what the kids tell me. Tinder is for hooking up.
That's what I thought.
You probably have the better looking people on Tinder, but the better looking people are on Tinder because they just want to hook up. And then the other ones are like Bumble and all the other ones. And then they have one that's for, like, there's a category for everything. There's, what do they call them? Oh gosh. Well, we're past that. They have the ones where they sugar daddy ones.
I need that one. I need that one.
Yeah, well, they want them 20. We're not even in that. We're so far away from that. No one is sugaring us. We don't even get any, we're not even getting any sprinkled fairy dust. I'm just telling you. I'm not even getting any powdered sugar. I'm getting some eggshell powder. That's about it. No.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And
that's
then they have the sophistication. Then they have the age appropriate one. I don't want to go on that one.
Yeah, totally no. Ageless. Hashtag ageless forever.
No, I don't want that. With a Dicky Doo might be on that. I don't want no Dicky Doos.
No Dicky Doos.
No
and
Dicky
for those
Doos.
of you who missed that one, a Dicky Doo is for a guy whose tummy sticks out more than his Dicky Doo. And a booby doo, just in case you thought I was, picking on guys, a booby doo is when the woman's belly sticks out more than the booby.
I think that's so funny. I don't know why that's so funny to me, because I never heard of that term until Dr. Marissa said it, and I could not stop laughing. So we don't want to go the age appropriate ones are going to have the booby doos and the dicky doos. So we don't want that one.
So tell your kids that in my experience, I actually I'm more attracted. So the way that you decide is how many swipes left do I have to do before I find a swipe right? And I find more attractive people on Bumble than I do on Tinder.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
so
I
you
guess
can tell your kids that their Aunt Marissa doesn't follow that. I have definitely, I probably swiped 300. When I was in Australia, I swiped 300 times before I swiped right once. Now, when I got back to the States, on Bumble, I'll probably swipe left like 50 times before I find one I'll swipe right. And on Tinder, I have to swipe 100 times before I find one to swipe right. So totally different
also
for me.
too, living in Los Angeles, I mean, people that are 50 don't look 50. They just don't. The men and the women living. If you go to the Midwest, it's shocking to me because people that live here that are 50 look 35. And that goes for the men and the women, because if they're not doing surgery, they're doing some kind of filler or Botox, and you see more men in the Botox office than you do the women. So it's such a big thing, and everybody now is on Ozempic. Everyone's walking around skinny again. So, LA, we're so obsessed with looking good. I don't think it's an age thing, because that doesn't bother me. I feel so much more mature and so much more knowledge. Like if I can go back to 25, no, I say 35. 35, I think was when you look your best, in my opinion. Because your face looks like you should look, and you don't look like a little kid anymore. I think that 35 is a good age for me, right? I think I look my best at 35. If I could have the knowledge that I have now, then that would be great. But if I could not have the knowledge that I have, I don't want to go back to 25, because I didn't know shit from Shiola. shoot from Shiola. Shoot.
Frank, I hope you caught that. So it was an expression, folks. Yeah. FCC fines me $20,000 every.
Don't bring it up. She said something.
So, anyways, what were oh yeah, age. Okay, so the thing. Okay, here's what has dawned on me from swiping. One is I'm surprised that people will put pictures up that that first picture is like some people's face is so close that you can see the pores on their nose, and you're like, that is an automatic. Really, that's your first. You want to give me your first impression of the pores on your nose? So that's a little hint for those guys who have these real close closures. Don't do that. It's not good for you. And I think that it's interesting. There's at least 10% actually say they're in an open relationship, they're happily married, and are
they
looking
call that
for
pansexual, right? Is that the term of pansexual?
I don't know which sexual it is, but I'm shocked at how many of those there are online.
But do you think they're telling the truth? I think that some of them are saying that they're open just so you already know they're married. But I bet you their spouses don't know that they're on Tinder. You know what I'm saying?
Some of them have a picture of the spouse with them. So
well, maybe that's what they want to do, you know, little.
Yeah. Well, I have to give credit. They have a category now that says, you know, what are you looking for? And it will say something casual. So, you know, if you want a relationship, don't swipe on someone who says
So that's
casual.
Tinder though, right? Tinder is
no, that's Bumble too.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's good. I think that's
but I think the reason why people's pictures don't look good because people don't have the average person does not have a professional picture. So what they do is they use their cell phones, and their cell phone now, the pictures are such high definition, they don't realize that it doesn't look good. You know what I mean? You need to set the setting up. And so probably most of those people probably look much better in person than they do in the picture.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm going to go the other way though. Some of them look really good in the pictures.
And they don't look good in person.
So video chats are vital. This is something I never used to do. I used to, you know, chat for a little and then meet for a coffee or actually I would meet for dinner. And then the dinners were so long. And if you knew in that first second that you weren't attracted, it was a long dinner. So, however, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, too, I would think, I mean, I haven't done anything like that. I'm married. But I would think that, hi, Maria, that they're not telling their age. I bet you they're using old pictures, and then you see them in person, and then they're like 15 years older. And even when people age, right? Even if you look older, a lot of times you can tell, okay, that might be a younger picture. You don't look like that in person. You look a little bit more mature. But some of them change so drastically and they're still using that picture.
Yeah, it reminds me of those apps that age you. Like the first pictures when they're young, and as you scroll down, you see how they look really now. And it's really something. But here, this is the other thing. What I find attractive and what someone else finds attractive are so different. So, you know, I've also stopped saying that it's superficial to judge people by the way they look, because that is some part of them. And if you're not like, if you don't feel something in your furnace when you're looking at them the first time, then, you know, that's, you want to be
not true. That's not true with men. You're validated by how you feel, because you know, even though they say that men are the ones that seek out, women are the actual ones that are the hunters. We've always been that way. We could walk into a room and it could be 100 guys, and you and I have, we don't have the same taste, but we have the same type in the men that we like, right? So we could walk into a room and we both are like radar, and I'm like, I know what you're looking at before you look at it, and you'll say the same, right? And
she's busted me too.
Right. I'd be like, oh yeah, I see what you're looking at over there too. Like 2 o'clock over there, right? We'll do the time thing. I've already spotted it, right? So the point is, we know instantly when we see someone as a woman, if we want to put you in the friend zone or not, which men just have to look at the body. Their hormones are so different. I was watching 90 Day Fiance, not to go off the subject. And this Russian guy, really handsome guy, is dating this transgender woman. I love that show. And he didn't know that she was transgender in the beginning of the relationship. She finally admitted it, right? So now they're back together, and I think he wants to come to the US. But anyway, he won't be physical with her anymore because he didn't know. And so it's psychological, and she's getting really angry. And bringing up the fact that she has to have sex. And my mom and I were sitting there going, see, at the end of the day, that's still a man, because he's trying to romance her, and that's all she think about. And it's like, that's still those man hormones that the women don't have, whereas just men go for other reasons why they're attracted to someone. They can just, like my mom said, a stiff one has no conscience. So if you meet a fine, sexy body in the middle of the night and you take her home, and then you wake up the next day, she's busted. They don't care. They had a good time. They sent her away. Which we have to have that physical attraction. And I think that's what brings people together. Now, we have different reasons why we're attracted to people, But I believe you have to be physically attracted to the person, because if you marry someone, you're going to have issues in the marriage. You're going to have disagreements, the lust and the passion and all that fades, right? You still have to find that person physically attractive. And if you don't,
for sure.
the marriage definitely won't work, because they're already, you get on each other's nerves after a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then the whole thing, I need your advice on this. So,
Okay.
if they don't put down, like, I already sort by education. Now again, it's going to sound like I am judging, and I'm really not. Like, I don't think, what level of education, as you go further, doesn't mean you're better than. I totally, don't think that. However, I do believe that by having a certain education, I want someone who kind of had that similar experience. Mm-hmm. So that's why education is important to me.
Sorry.
My husband was one. My husband was someone who was, was misrepresentative of his education. I thought he had an AA, and it came out of discovery he didn't. He went to a school to get his his high school diploma. So it's the disparity or the difference in experience that is important to me. So, and then if they don't put what they do, another thing about me is I am so attracted to achievement. I'm attracted to that determination and really, busting your life out and going for it and accomplishing things. So for me, your job and what you've done is important, and that's attractive to me. So when a guy doesn't put down, sexy. When he doesn't put down what he does,
to be an entrepreneur, to have his own career, to run a company. You see older men with beautiful young women that they could be just average looking guy. But if you have a nice company, a home, and you could call it superficial, women are attracted to that. Just like men are attracted to youth and beauty. It's the same thing. Men who'll sit there and call you a gold digger, but we have this, for us, being that reads power to us. That means protective, to protect us. That's what we want. And same thing with them. It's just a different dynamic of what they find attractive. I find a man who has a great career, who's intelligent, who I can have a conversation. We could travel. We could talk about world things. They don't have like tunnel vision. That's, to me, is more attractive than anything, because I want to talk about different cultures. I wanted to try different foods, different cultures. I want you to be open. I don't want someone to be like, I'm American and this is what matters, because that's not what matters in the world. That doesn't make you grow. So you and I like the same things.
So then when I ask them, and I actually say, can I ask what you do for a living? This is in the messaging, right? After you match. I said, can I ask what you do for a living? And at the risk of sounding superficial, but I've learned the hard way that if I don't ask, it's not a good thing. So I do that, and then they'll tell me. And so one said, I am a delivery truck driver, and said that, and I'm like, okay, so my husband was a delivery, and I used to make up that he was bigger than he was, not bigger, but different than he was, by saying he did sales and marketing for Anheuser-Busch, when in effect he was a delivery truck driver for a bottler of soda and beer, and because of my own stuff, nothing to do with him. He was happy with who he was. I wasn't happy with who he was, so I had to make him, and that's on me. Right. But knowing that now, the last thing I want to do is go back and repeat the things that I've done.
Exactly.
Right. So how do I respond to that?
You do the Irish goodbye.
What's that?
You don't know the Irish goodbye. When you're at an event or a party, or I say church on the go, like Snoop Dogg says. when you're at an event, say we go out and we want to leave, and I act like I'm going to the bathroom and you act like you're going to the bathroom, but we don't say bye to the host. And we're like, oh, we were looking for you, but we didn't see you. And we go to the car and take off and go home. That's the Irish goodbye.
Why is it called Irish?
I don't know. And so
that's
Luke
so
had a
funny.
TV show and he called it Church on the Go. Church on the Go is he has his whole posse, right? He was at this thing and he had this acupuncture, and the acupuncturist was blind, and he was already afraid of needles. And when he found out that the acupuncture guy was blind and was giving him the needles, he said, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And he saw his posse, he ran, he goes, Church on the Go, and everyone dispersed. So that means like if he says Church on the Go, everybody leaves. So
I love learning new things.
Everyone knows what Irish goodbye is. So I can't say Irish goodbye. I tell my friends Church on the Go. So that's our code, so no one knows we're all going to leave.
I learned something new today. So you would unmatch without saying anything.
So just do the Irish goodbye. You quietly fade. You went to the bathroom and didn't come back. You go out of the country and don't come back. Say, oh, I have to go back to Australia, or I got to go to London. Somewhere. Just go.
Okay. No. I haven't met them yet. This is just on messaging.
Oh, and then that's even easier to do the Irish goodbye. Come on.
Yeah, that's
you know what? You're already answering your question. You already know where this is going. You've already experienced it. You know you're not going to be interested in the delivery truck guy because you want to be proud of the person you're with. You know, when you're in your 20s, that might be fine. You're like, oh, he has a nice job. He's a delivery truck guy. But when you get to our age, we know where that's going, right?
Yeah.
And so we want someone we can. Yeah, that you can grow and evolve with and build something together. And you want someone who has more aspirations in life to do something than to do that as a mature person.
Yes, and that's not a judgment.
Maybe he has a hobby on the side and he has his own maybe he's writing a book or something.
Yeah, and please hear that if you're starting to judge me for being judgmental. I am totally, that's not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place that, like Alon said, if you're younger, and I just met my younger daughter's boyfriend on Zoom and gave him the Inquisition and everything. And what I was judging him on beforehand was what he's doing now. And they're early 20s, right? And after I got to know him, I was like, wow, I like that. They want to grow together. They want to achieve together as a unit. And that's what they've decided. So that's fine. And that's great. And I'm not judging that, or I'm trying not, I've really had a good talk to myself about judging that, and I'm not. So I'm happy that I'm not. Now, for me though, at my stage of agelessness, that's not, I don't want to build something with someone who is looking to build something from ground zero or ground. I shouldn't use those numbers, but just, I'm not at a place in life where I would like to grow.
You don't want to start there.
I don't want to start it. Thank you. Good way to say.
I don't want to start there. I want to be able to go out and travel and do the things and live life. I don't want to live life to survive, right?
Yeah.
I want to live my life and enjoy my life. I'm at the age where I've done so much and tolerated so much and been through so much that I want to now enjoy my life. My best friend was talking about buying new property. And this girlfriend of mine, her husband lives in Texas, and they're talking about buying property and they have no kids. And I said, listen, not that I don't want you to not, buy property. You already have a property in Los Angeles. You have no kids. Why would you do that? You're retiring this year. Take that money, because she's always saved and always been about investment and money and this. And I said, enjoy your life now, because you don't have any kids, and your niece and nephew, you already have stuff to leave them. Enjoy yourself. Stop. You have to be at the age where you're going to start all over again. Don't do that. This is so you want someone that you can just take that money and travel with it. I said, you and your spouse travel. He's almost retirement age. You're retirement age. Enjoy what you're doing, because that quality of life is going to give you longevity. Yeah. Anything can happen when you get to this age. You have to have a nice life where you have the quality so you can live longer.
Yeah. And this is the balance of what I'm realizing is there's a balance between having expectations that are unrealistic or just like, I'm not perfect and I want to find a perfect guy. Like, no, that's
There's
not
no
going
one
to happen.
perfect.
It's not going to happen. But on the other hand, right? On the other hand, there's nothing wrong with wanting certain things.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a heart emoji or kiss emoji on that one. Thank you very much. If you've just tuned in and wondering what's going on in studio, we're getting into a lively conversation about online dating because yours truly has entered that sphere thanks to Australia. And so I haven't even caught up and told my bud BFF here, Alon, about my little escapades.
We have to go out. We have to go out and get something. Listen, we have to go catch up and get some little nibbles, kibbles, and bits that we like to have. You know, our kibbles and bits. But this is the thing. Anyone that's out there in the peanut gallery right now, I ask you to join us and give us any of your input of dating apps that Dr. Marissa can go on and explore. Because I think she needs more than those two, right? You got to go on several.
It's so much time, though. I'm actually going to get off of Tinder because it's too much.
But what about when you're at night and you're going to bed and then you're sitting on your phone? You can just swipe until you fall asleep.
Swipe myself to sleep. Swipe myself to sleep. Anyways, you're listening to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. The show here on KCAA NBC News Radio. And it is Friday, which is the Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elon Carter
series. And we're talking about online dating. We're so happy that you're here. If you would like to participate and you're not driving, please do free subscribe to my YouTube channel, TV channel, and you will get an alert every weekday morning that you can join in. And today is always a fun day. We're getting you sliding into the weekend with some tempting conversation, and we're talking about advice for me on online dating. But the reason why I don't want to do other apps is I'm actually meeting some pretty cool people on Bumble. And it's challenging me to get that balance between, looking for someone who has everything that I think I want. Do I really, what is it that I really, really want to match on? That question has never really, I either had a huge list, which is unattainable, or I had no list, which is dangerous.
Well, I'm always on my TikTok stuff now. For the longest, I wouldn't get on TikToks, and now I'm on TikTok. So there's one that keeps popping up that I know you're gonna like, and I'm gonna send it to you because it's younger men who like mature women. I'm gonna send it to you.
No. There's no part of the word cougar that I am remotely interested in. Yeah,
they say they like sophisticated women. It doesn't say cougar. She said, I'm not taking care of anybody.
Doesn't matter. No. I already took care of. Yeah, I used a lot of money to take care of a man, and I ain't doing it again.
I don't blame you. I call it, we're not cougars, we're barracudas. I don't even care. I'll be a barracuda and don't even care. I'm over it. I'm like, no, I'm not taking care of anyone.
For sure. Troy is answering your question. When I was dating, there were no apps. Yeah, he's been married to Netta for 31 years. Did I get that right?
Yeah, there was no apps when I was dating either.
Involved answering a bunch of questions.
Single.
Okay. So his computer dating involved answering a bunch of questions that were transcribed into punch cards and put into a mainframe. Wow, that's dating yourself, and the fact that I know what you're talking about is dating me. So much for #ageless. It is a new day. And I know a lot of people, some friends of mine who are married, who just shake their heads and say, good for you, because I could never do the dating. today.
My sister has an amazing career, does really well. She's in New York, and she's young, and she still is not in a serious relationship or has been married. And my stepsister and I both have been married. My stepsister's been married 2 or 3 times, right? And I've been married the whole time. And when I try to give her advice, she's like, oh, you're just older. You don't know better. I said, well, we both have been married and you haven't yet. So obviously you need to listen to us, right? We're trying to tell you because the hookup thing is not working for you, right? At some point, you're going to be aging out where someone wants to marry you. So you need to find other things and other interests in people because you're getting at the age where men are going to start going for the 20-year-olds, no matter how great your career is. Because that, when you, the kind of men that she likes, even though she does phenomenal, it doesn't matter to them because they can afford whatever kind of woman they want, right? When they have that kind of career and that kind of money, they can afford whoever. So they don't care. It's good that you have a career, but they don't care because men are all about aesthetics. So I'm trying to get her to, look at other things and how to approach it. But she thinks I'm corny. And I just go, okay, well, good luck.
That's the one that looks Asian, right?
Well, she's half Filipino. My sister's half Filipino.
Half Filipino. That's
she's
right.
Filipino and Chinese. So her grandmother is Filipino, Chinese, and her my dad's Native American Black. So she is a mixture of everything, but she looks Filipino.
Yeah, that's
but she's in Paris right now. She travels all the time. So I lived in London for so long. I tell her all the time, you will have more luck marrying someone overseas in Europe than you will here in America. The men here are just different. They've gotten pretty bad. I'm sorry, dudes, but you have. I think the men still have a bit more chivalry over, and the European men have more chivalry than they do here.
Yeah.
And our LA guys want the women to take care of them. They're all models and actors. So you have that, they want you to support them and the woman should pull their weight. So you still have the European men still have a lot more chivalry, what we want. And I said, my grandmother used to always say that to me. You got to go back to the basics. She's like, you're going to be single if you don't go back to the basics. Make someone court you. If they're not courting you, don't waste your time.
Okay.
And then she
died. Glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. So my grandmother died, right? And I had, and this is when I'm in my 20s, and I have all these gorgeous friends. Like, I don't know if you met my friend. My girlfriend Akana, the Japanese girl, Japanese and Black, really beautiful with really long hair. So her and another friend of mine who's actually married now, beautiful girls, all models. And my grandmother was like, you guys I can't believe you guys are not married. You guys are such beautiful women, right? We were young, we were in our prime, and we were all modeling. And she goes, what's wrong with these guys? And then before she passed, she's like, you have to go back to the basics. Now, my grandmother had been married 3 times. She was my great grandmother. And I was like, oh, she's old. And then after she died, like the light came on, like she was talking to me saying, the next person you go out with, make them court you. And that's when I end up marrying my husband. If they don't court you, they don't value you. You're like a car to them. Men, they value the kind of car they have, right? If they have the high-end sports car, they're going to polish that car and baby that car. That's how men treat women. That's what my grandmother said.
I've got my top down, convertible. Anyway, but this is the thing that I'm finding that, okay, I'm not swiping on people that say they want something casual because that's saying, you basically just want to hook up, right? And I don't want to hook up. I would like to see if there's someone that I can have a relationship with that is, augmenting my life, which I'm allowing now for the first time the possibility of. And so I do want to be courted. I do want to, have, but then when they're like that forward in the first, 3 sentences, you're so hot, you're so sexy.
Yes.
It kind of, I'm like,
that's a turn off.
Yeah. So then, like, where's that balance? But then, like, if you start chatting and everything's good, and they're like, they start with the, what is it going to be like? I can't wait to get you alone. And you're at that stage, right, where that would feel good. And then, but you're like, but I want to be, I want to be asked out. I want to be like courted and taken out. And the response was, don't have to have a set playbook or something like that. And so I was like, but I want to be cool.
Do this.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, for me, if I meet someone and they, of course you want to be told you're pretty, you look good, but if someone comes across sexual right away before we even gone out and start asking me sexual questions, I am instantly turned off, because I don't even think you should be even going there with me. And I think it's just a different generation. If you want to date me, take me out, have a conversation with me, and then work your way into it. It's not that I even want to have that conversation. It's just a turnoff.
Yeah, absolutely. And guess what? We're on our last
we're out of
minute
time
already.
2 minutes.
Thank you for joining us today on Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elon Carter.
It's all about balance. We'll continue this discussion next week as I keep you on a soap opera as the stomach turns in Dr. Marissa's dating life. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best weekend ever. Bye. See you Monday.
Had a broken bone. You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? Well, what would you do if you have a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's way too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times, addiction treatment is fully covered. So why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed to take time